Writing it today, I had some dental work done and I just got my
Oh,
feeling back. And I was like, oh,
oh,
God,
sorry.
I'm going to run and take some ibuprofen before we get started.
Okay.
All right, we can go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April 15th, 2021 Zoning Board of Appeals pre-meeting. The pre-meeting is a time for board members to ask questions of staff. There is no participation by members of the public or by applicants. We have 4 cases tonight, so we'll go ahead and get started with site visits. What I'll do is I'll go through and check with each board member. Case number 1, any board members not visit case number 1, 1385 Highland. Case number 2, any board members not visit 131 Harvard Street. Case number 3, anybody not visit 280 Klein Street. And case 4, anybody not visit 102 Colby Street. Awesome. Well, that made it easy. Case number 1, this is a return case. It was adjourned from the previous meeting. Matt and Lorene, I sent you today late, albeit my apologies for that. Were you both able to view the previous?
Yes.
I did, yeah.
Perfect, thank you both so much for that. Any questions on this one? This is, it had come out in the hearing last time that they were potentially making some changes to the design. So they went back with their architect and submitted what you all have now. Any questions on this one? Okay, case number 2 is 131 Harvard Street. This was also adjourned from the last meeting. This is a case of a driveway that was wider than an existing curb cut and didn't lead to the rear yard. There's information on the first page of the staff report outlining exactly what DES is willing to entertain for an approval. Any questions on this one or the new information? All right, case number 3.
So Matt,
Yeah.
sorry about that. So I saw the instrument survey. I saw the instrument survey map that had a little bit of a shaded area. Is that what she's proposing?
No, you know what? That was sketched on there as part of the copy. You're talking about the triangle in the front?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's proposing to keep it the same. That was part of when the map
Okay,
came over. Go ahead.
Right, yeah. So she's just asking what she was asking for last month, right?
Correct. No change. Correct. That's correct. No change from last month. Paving what is existing out there.
Okay.
Correct. Good question.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. 280 Klein Street.
I don't really understand what this tower is. I tried to Google it.
Yeah. So talk to the applicant about it. Ask a lot of questions, what it is, what it does, why do you have it, why do you need it, what do you need it so tall for, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely talk to the applicant about it. Johanna and I were just talking about this. We haven't had one. There was one of these years ago, and I think it predates me, not in this neighborhood, but yeah, so talk to the applicant about that. There is public testimony. I'm sorry, well, there is public testimony. There is someone signed up to speak for this case and someone to sign up to speak for the previous case. And then the written feedback that you received for Klein. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask lots of questions.
Hey, Matt, but does the city have any additional information for us in terms of have any of these tenant towers been approved in the city? And if so, what heights have been approved? I think that would have been extremely helpful for the city to help provide. I know we can ask the applicant questions, and there's some information out there about these and some pros and cons that different communities have about them. But it would have been good to have some information from the city.
The only one in recent time that I mentioned previously, Johanna had mentioned, was quite a few years ago. So in terms of additional information, I think that one was approved, that was discussed, right, Johanna?
Is that the one at 861 North Winton Road, right around the corner from my house in all of its giant ugliness?
Yeah, so give me 1 second and I can pull up a height for that address.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here. Would you say
Yeah,
860?
that's the only one I can ever remember coming.
They're just not common.
Before, it's just, they're
861.
just not that common, yeah.
Do you know how many there are in the city by any chance?
As I said, in my memory is that that's
So there's two?
maybe the only one that was approved in, and maybe in the last 15, 20
Oh,
years, but
857 map.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about two that you know of.
I mean, there may be more. I mean,
That one was 1994. Oops. The
Don't they
permit
have
on
to
that one
register?
you're discussing
Don't they have to register some sort of, so,
they probably have a
something
license.
aliens or
I don't
something?
know. We don't license it. We're just interested in the structure, and they
Oh,
are
I know,
required
but-
to comply with the building code.
if there's a license, there's a structure, so it's just
Yeah, but
wondering.
that, we don't license them, so.
I know, but if someone has a license, there's a structure to it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So that would be in the city's realm. Right?
Well, we require them to have a maximum height, and if they don't meet that height requirement, like this guy, has to
Right,
get
correct.
an area variance.
independent of all that other stuff.
Yeah, the
Maureen.
rest of
So
it we
you're-
don't regulate. Yeah.
We don't regulate or have anything to do with that. So using the standards to determine if the height based on context of the neighborhood, if there's an alternative based on the height, why does he need it 30 feet tall as opposed to 15 feet? All of that information is
Right.
for the applicant to prove.
Yeah, and you just apply all your normal area variance standards to it, like you would.
I thought
any
this was
other
a
structure.
pretty dated thing, ham radio operators. Pretty weird.
I think the folks that do it are pretty devoted to it,
Right.
and so let him explain to you why he wants it, why he needs it, why the height. I'm guessing the height is so he gets better reception, but let
Yeah.
him explain that to you.
Yeah, so keeping in mind, there, as Johanna said, the people that do it are certainly into it. But the look at the review here is just determining if the standard has been met with regard to the height independent of, that other sort of stuff, so. Last case, any other questions on Klein? Case on Colby Street is a bit unique because it's, the applicant is sort of put the floor plan out there of it's currently being used as a 4-family, and is willing to entertain some options for redoing the floor plan. So what the applicant is looking to do is expand a legally existing 3-family. So you're in the R1 low density residential district. The property is legal in accordance with that certificate of occupancy that's on the staff report there. First floor, 1 family, second floor, 2 families with no third floor occupancy. So the occupancy of the 3rd floor is what's under review. So the zoning board has the authority to, of course, deny and no access to the 3rd floor, or allow an expansion of a legally existing unit into the 3rd floor based on some configuration that's plausible for you all based on bedroom count or what have you, in accordance with the floor plan that he submitted.
So
Um,
I'm confused.
Mhm.
It says existing condition plans, which
Mhm.
makes it look like there is already somebody living on the 3rd floor. Is that?
Correct.
That's correct. So then what does he really want to do?
He wants to legalize the 3rd floor. You cannot legalize it as a 4th unit. There's no path forward to legalize it as a 4th unit. The only path that's available, which is what this board has the authority to approve or deny, is expanding, or I should say reconfiguring 3 units within the existing structure. You can't add a 4th unit. You can do 3. So he could, for example, expand maybe the 2-bedroom that's on the 2nd floor into the 3rd floor, or some configuration like that. So it has to remain a 3 unit,
Okay.
But the board's authority would be coming up with a configuration that they're comfortable with as a larger 3-family.
Yeah, I'm thinking what he wants to do is to expand that studio he has probably into a 2-bedroom. That's what probably makes the most sense for him.
To get
Financially for him, because he's got a studio on the 2nd floor. That's
Right.
probably what he wants to expand. Okay.
any other questions on Colby Street?
Yeah, a question in terms of the applicant.
Mhm.
Has the discussion been made or had that, they can just expand into the space instead of turning it into another unit?
So that's
They-
what you all are
Has that
doing.
discussion already happened or?
The
Okay.
discussion is for you all to have. So he cannot expand into the 3rd floor without approval from this board. So it's not on the table to
Oh,
have
no,
a
I mean,
4th.
in terms of, okay, just to make it habitable. So the idea is that he makes it habitable, but also turn it into another unit. But has anybody talked to him about finishing it, but then potentially turning it into, just expanding the 3rd unit? Or is it all or nothing from his perspective? Is it all or nothing that he rehabs and turns it into another unit?
I guess I don't follow the question.
That being clear? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I think if Matt, I think so. Him turning it into into another apartment is not on the table. What we have to approve is if he can expand that apartment. So that's what he's coming for us to try to figure out. Can he expand it? That's what he wants to do, is expand it. If
Okay,
that,
I thought he was trying
Oh,
to
and-
actually expand and turn it into a 4 unit.
no, he can't.
Right, so,
No, he can't.
Matt, just a little history on these kind of cases, Matt. We've had a lot of people come to us to expand living space where there's no kitchen and no bedroom on the 3rd floor. That's what I've seen in the past where these cases have. As Matt said, you can't add another unit irregardless of what this board would
Gotcha.
allow.
Okay.
We're just deciding whether or not he can increase the living space. And I say that quote unquote, because it's always our fear that we allow that and it becomes a bedroom in any event, and it becomes an enforcement issue. So.
Yeah, thank you, all of you. The other piece of that, so like at minimum, a kitchen has to come out, right? There's nothing wrong with having an additional bathroom up there. So over the years, the board has looked at things and said, yeah, you can expand, but you can't have plumbing up there. Or yeah, you can expand, but the kitchen has to remain on X floor. So you're kind of playing a little bit with the configuration, trying to determine if that, 486 square feet on that 3rd floor? Yeah, the additional 486 square feet.
Yeah, and it becomes an enforcement issue, Matt Bain, because the city inspectors go out there, I think, once every 5 years. And what these landlords do sometimes is they spend the money to have the kitchen removed every 5 years. And they play a game with the inspectors. So we walk a fine line on that.
Yeah, and Matt, I think the other thing too to make you put that antenna up is a lot of these folks sometimes submit photos, so it's pretty obviously he didn't even submit photos with this application, so we could truly see what's going on the 3rd floor, which is interesting to me to see if there's actually things going upstairs for there to be a kitchen upstairs, or if that's what's labeled on the plan. So I'm curious to see what's his.
Well, is that how this case came to us, Matt Simonis? That they probably enforcement caught it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that is everything for the pre-meeting. If no one has anything else. And we will reconvene on the YouTube stream, on this Zoom call and on the YouTube stream at 6 p.m. for the hearing. I will see everyone then.
All right.